Hi, my name is Ryan Garrett, and I'm a current law student at the University of New Hampshire Franklin Pierce School of Law. I'm also a volunteer ambassador for Service to School, which helps veterans transition from the military and apply to college. Um, what I'm trying to accomplish here is a short video about just a broad picture of the college application process. This video is designed for those who have never applied to college and don't come from families that know how to or went to college. I was a first generation college student myself, and I'm working with some prospective students, and I feel like there's a need for this video, and so let's get right to it. First thing you want to do when you're applying to colleges is you want to go onto their school website. Okay. The Common App and the Coalition App are pretty widely used applications that a lot of schools accept. I think the Common App has over 700 schools that take the Common App. Coalition App has in the 100s range, and it's a newer application. But you're going to want to go to the admissions page on the school website to see what types of apps that they accept. And if they accept either the Common or the Coalition app, what additional materials you need to submit with that application to have a complete application. Also, you're going to want to look on there to see if they require or accept any SAT or ACT scores. And for certain programs, you might actually need to take a subject test in one of those as well. When you are looking at the types of decisions that the colleges have, there are these four basic types that I know of at least and have come across. Rolling is what it sounds like. You can submit an application at any time and they'll take a look at it and get back to you. More common, especially for undergraduate, is these three other types of decisions. So you have the regular decision, early decision, and then early action. I'll start with early decision. Early decision is a type of decision where you are telling the school that they are your number one school and that if they accept you, you will go there. Often, I believe you actually have to revoke your applications from other schools once you get accepted if you applied early decision. In my opinion, this is a good way to go if you are not concerned about the financial aid package. I know for me, when I was applying to, especially when I was applying to law school, private schools tend to be a lot more expensive. Public schools are more affordable. And if you aren't wealthy, it might really matter to you what that financial aid package looks like in terms of scholarships or grants and student loans. So you might not want to apply early decision if that's the case. But it is a good tool if you know 100% that you have one school that you want to go to, and if you get in, you're going to go there. You want to apply early decision because it gives you the best chance of getting in. Early action is kind of similar, except it's not a binding decision. So you'll submit your application earlier than the regular decision, and the school will get back to you faster than they would if you applied regular decision, but you aren't forced to go there if they accept you. Both early decision and early action, you're going to want, again, you need to look at the school's website and see exactly what their deadlines are. But often those decisions you have to apply earlier. I believe a lot of the early decisions are in December. Some might be January 1st, but I think quite a few of them are December, maybe even earlier. So you're going to need to have your application materials ready to go earlier in the process for early decision and early action. Regular decision, frequently schools have a deadline of anywhere between March and June for regular decision. When you go regular decision, you're telling the school, I basically not extra committed to your school, but I want to apply and receive a response and see what happens. Let's see. That's really about it for decision types. So once you actually apply and you get your acceptance letter, you're going to start looking at financial aid. Often a school will send you a financial aid package after they accepted you, but it does tend to take a while. I think I received mine maybe in May or June, and I applied regular decision to UNH School of Law in March. I think they got back to me May or June. Might have been a little bit earlier than that in terms of the financial aid package. For a lot of these, you might not be able to get your financial aid package, especially if you apply later in the process. You might not get the financial aid package before your deposits are due. So that's something to keep in mind, and it's basically always beneficial to apply early when it comes to college. But the school will send you a financial aid package that will lay out how much tuition is, how much they gave you in scholarship, and how much they're allocating for grants or loans. And in order for them to give you that information, you have to complete a FAFSA for them. So that takes into account if you're an independent student. So if you file your own tax returns and your parents don't claim you as a dependent, you'll actually put your own financial information into the FAFSA. If you're more of a traditional student and you're still, you're still a dependent of your parents, you're likely going to have to get information from your parents or their accountant or somebody about their finances over the last year, and you're going to have to use their information and put that into the FAFSA. Make sure you coordinate with your school financial aid office about when you'll be getting the package. And this is kind of specifically for veterans, but I noticed for mine, like I'm using the post 9/11 GI Bill to pay for law school completely because it's a public school. When I got my financial aid package from UNH Law, they had on their student loans, sizable student loans, and I had to coordinate with them to tell them, hey, I'm a veteran. I'm going to be using the 9/11 package. I don't want to take out any student loans because I already have some from undergrad. So just make sure you're open and communicate with them. They typically are very responsive and very helpful. For the deposits, the last thing on there, typically you're going to have to send in a deposit of a few $100s. Maybe there might be 1 or 2 deposits. I believe mine for UNHL was $750. And that is you telling them that, hold my spot, and they take that money in order to hold your spot. Pretty positive. I was looking up before. You can submit deposits to multiple schools if you still haven't made your decision yet. It obviously behooves you to figure out where you want to go so you don't have to pay extra money for them to hold your spot open, but it is an option if you have that privilege. And then last thing I have is veteran specific stuff, because I'm probably going to send this out to some of my prospective students. When you are a veteran and you're trying to use either the 9/11 or the Montgomery GI Bill, you're going to need to send in a certificate of eligibility to the veteran specialist at the school. So, you can call the admissions office and ask them who that person is. That might be the easiest way. You might be able to find the information easily on their website, but often I just ended up calling the admissions office and they can direct you to the right person. And they're very helpful. It is their job to help you. It's not only their job just to pick out good students to come to their school, it's also their job to help you navigate through the process. So make sure you utilize them. And it's always good to establish a relationship with them because you're going to be seeing them at the school off and on, depending on how big the school is. But so you want to send in that certificate of eligibility. Often it's going to be, there's going to be a percentage on there, 100% GI Bill. And then if you're a veteran, that's really all you have to do. The school will then communicate with the VA to get paid for the tuition that is owed to them. And it's pretty easy. Residential affidavit, a lot of schools either will require you to submit a residential affidavit. If you're a veteran, they might have a separate affidavit for you for that, because veterans typically can be considered to live in the state of the school, depending on certain conditions, even if they don't actually live there. But if you do live in the state that you're going to school, you could probably just fill this out regularly. But just understand that that's something that you're probably going to have to do. And the reason that they do this is for the difference between in-state and out-of-state tuition. They need to know how much to charge you based on your residence status. if you're a veteran and you're applying to a school, I would find it unlikely that you would have to pay an out-of-state tuition. So make sure you are not paying extra money. Um, Last thing on here is the Yellow Ribbon Program. So if you're using the post 9/11 GI Bill, which is really the most common, um, military benefit that people are going to be using, if you're applying and going to a public school, that will cover the cost of the tuition. If you're going to a private school, often their prices are much higher. So you might not be able to cover everything with just the post 9/11 GI Bill. That's where the Yellow Ribbon Program comes in. Go to the school website, call the financial aid office, see if they support the Yellow Ribbon Program at that school. If they do, they're going to have a certain amount of money that they will match to help you, cover that extra tuition cost. So that's something that you want to make sure that you look into that if you're going to a private school and you want to cover that extra money. I think you're probably going to need your DD 214 in order to get certified for the Yellow Ribbon Program at that school. You're going to need your DD 214 for the rest of your life anytime you're trying to do anything military related. So, make sure you send that in. And that's really all I have. I hope that that was helpful. I know that I would have probably liked that if I was when I was applying first as a first generation college student. And if anybody has any questions or you want to yell at me for doing a bad job, feel free to leave it in the comments.